Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Welcome to my virtual studio here in Vermillion. Today I'm going to take you step by step on how to paint this snowy lakeside cabin scene that you can see beside me. If you haven't already checked out my other painting tutorials, I encourage you to do so. I will link below where you can find the whole playlist of all of my Vermillion step-by-step tutorials. And if you ever want to try these in real life, I've done most of these with acrylic paint in real life. I will link that below for you as well to check out. Today, as I'm working on this on my Quest 2, I will put in the description the different accessories I'm using to make my experience a bit more comfortable. And if you want to check out any of those reviews or products that I'm using alongside my Quest 2, you can check those out below as well. But let's jump into this one. Alright, here we are in the Vermillion studio. If you haven't been here before, then I'll kind of get you going here. If you have watched my tutorials before, I appreciate you being here. So you're going to want to go on the left side to save and new if you already have something up here, and you can just hit start new painting. You'll see this here. Here you can resize your canvas to whatever size you would like. I originally did this in acrylic paint on 8x10, and so I'm going to just go an equivalent size up 16 by 20, and then you can increase or decrease that size afterwards and it will stay proportional to that ratio. So I'm going to make it as big as my screen will allow me so you can easily see what's going on here. And then I've got the picture of my original painting that I did in real life here just on my browser there. I will put it in the video though, so you don't have to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to make reference to that and kind of look at it as we're going here. Alright, so when we're doing nature paintings, it's always good to start with the background, work your way to the foreground, because then you're not trying to paint around the foreground as you're doing the background. You can easily just paint the background a little bit bigger than what you wanted to, and then you can just layer it over top as you move forward. So this one, as you can see here, we are doing, sorry, I'm just tightening my wrist strap just a little bit there. We're doing this nice mountain cabin scene. I'm excited for this one here. So I just did this one in acrylic paint earlier this week, and I thought, why not convert that into a digital Vermillion painting as well. So as we go through, I'll try to take you step by step as best I can and show you as best I can what is going on here. So for our background, we're going to start with that background first. I'm just going to take our nice big 2-inch brush, and what a little trick that you can do if you'd like, you can shrink this canvas down all the way, and you'll be able to cover that background way faster than if you had a big canvas and you were trying to paint it. So I'm going to take some white here. I'm going to take a little bit of this darker blue here. Actually, I need to check while I'm at it. There we go. My mixing sensitivity is down, so I'm going to turn that up a little bit. I'll leave my paint thickness up. There you go. You can kind of see we've got a nice little range going already. So I'm going to take that darkest color that we got there, spread that on the top of this canvas, just go down part ways, clean my brush off. I just press A, or you can wipe it on the little rag there. Grab some lighter gray, work that in a little bit, grab some even lighter, and just work my way back up with nice horizontal brush strokes. Clean off my brush, start at the top, and work my way back down. And I'm going quite a ways down, as you can see there. And that's good. I'm going to take a little bit of that darker again, start at the top. And now I'm just going to grab my blender brush, and I'm just going to go with vertical strokes to start here. And then I'm going to go nice and horizontal. If you want to do some other directions to kind of create airflow movement in that direction, that's also a good idea. But that's just going to smooth out this background for us. There we go. That's all we're going to do for the background there. Now before I go any further, I'm actually going to go to our layers. I'm going to go to the second layer here. I'm going to take our, what was this one called again? The dagger color shaper. I'm just going to take some black, mix it in with a little bit of that, just making it a nice gray. And what I want to do is just kind of sketch in where I want things to be. So I'm going to draw in our shoreline kind of coming in here. We're going to have this come up here. And actually for this we can increase this size a little bit more so it's easier to see. This is going to come up right here. Even a little bit further. I'm going to press B here so I got a little bit sturdier of a brush. I'm not too worried about this being perfect here. I'm actually going to change, that's a little bit too big. Let's shrink that down a little bit. I'm going to change how the cabin looks compared to in my original painting. Just a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger there. We're going to have the trees coming up into here. Right down into there, and then we're going to have a mountain kind of coming up back over here, which then will be reflected down there. Along with our cabin right there. And then we will have some smaller set of trees kind of coming along right in there. And I think that's it. I think that's what we're going to do. So now I don't want to paint on that layer anymore. I'm going to go to the third layer, so I'm on top. I don't need anything to blend in with the background anymore. The background is good as it is. But so we're not gonna do anything with that. But we're gonna start with those mountains. So what I am going to do, I'm gonna take this 2-inch brush here. I'm gonna take this darker color that we had, take a little bit of black with it, make it a little bit grayer, and then that's gonna come in right here. And that's going to fill in. Right in there. Now on your view, it might look pretty gray. I'm just looking at what is being filmed right now. It looks pretty gray, but it is a little bit bluer. And so if you feel like you need to add even more blue to it, definitely go ahead and do that. I'm going to grab now just swap this one out. The bristle's short, flat. I'm going to take some light here, increase that size a bit, and I'm just going to work a little bit of this lighter color in here. And if you find that it's blending way too fast, you can always go grab your canvas mixing sensitivity, turn that down, and then you'll notice that it goes on top much easier than it was before. I'm just gonna get a scratch in here where I want the little ravines and the mountainside to be. I'm gonna grab my blender brush now, go through, kind of blend some of that out, and I'm gonna blend right on the edges of the mountain as well, because I want that to be really foggy up in there, you know, as if you can't even see where the mountain begins or ends. Notice my brush strokes continue to be in the direction that I want that snow or the rocks of the mountain to look. Okay, I'm going to grab our bristle fan and I'll turn up that mixing sensitivity again for now. With my palette, I'm going to grab some of this green here, mix that in just a little bit there, and I'm just going to dab some of this green in throughout there, just on the lower parts of this mountain right here. Same color, just going to make it quite a bit darker. And even add a hint of that dark blue in there as well. There we go, that's awesome. Because as things are further away in the distance, usually they get a little bit of a blue tinge to them. Then I'm taking that blender brush, there we go, and just going to blend that out a little bit. So I want this to all be blended out, to not really have too much visible texture. We're creating visible texture by adding different colors in here, sorry. I'm going to take a bit more white and just add some white, just some pure white through these mountains here. As I want there to be more snow going on in here at different spots. And we'll even get some snow down in these trees here as well. Okay, grab that blender brush. Just gonna go over it just lightly, because if you go over it too hard, then it'll blend the color right away from the canvas, and we want most of it to stay on there nice and bright white. I'll get some of it kind of blended out slightly more, but oh, undo that. Good thing there's an undo button. There we go. So there's our mountain in the back there. Now I'm going to work my way into this foreground side over here, and actually hold on, sorry. What I think we need to do first, I'm just going to add a little bit of this dark in here, a little bit of this light, a little bit of really light, because these trees that I have going on here behind aren't going to fill it all up. So I'm just going to blend these out here. I am going to put trees right here, so it's not going to be too, we don't need to worry too much about it, but I want behind the trees to still have color, right? Okay, now let's grab our bristle fan. I'm going to take a really, oh, that's not too dark. I want a nice and dark background here. So I keep on getting it too light there. Okay, we got a really dark brown here. I'm going to increase that brush size. You can see there, just putting that nozzle forward. And I'm just going to actually just going to paint that in a little bit thicker here. Except for the tops I'll go through and so in between each load of the brush I'm cleaning it off. I'm pressing the clean off button, otherwise your colors get way too muddy underneath of it. Okay, we got that darkest one on there now. Now I'm going to take just a lighter green, and I'm actually going to turn down that mixing sensitivity, otherwise my colors are going to get way too mudded here. And just doing some nice vertical strokes here. I'm going to add a second layer onto these, and this is going to make them look more like pine trees. Don't be afraid to make some taller than others. In nature, things aren't uniform. Things are quite random at times. Now I'm going to take a lighter green. Go through and do that same idea. And now I'm going to grab some white. I'm going to shrink my brush down. I'm just going to add some white on these trees here. As if they got some snow on them. Okay, I think we're good there. Now we're going to move over to the trees that are behind the cabin here. So for those, I'm going to grab I'm going to start with the bristle flat. Oh, I'm going to clean that brush off. I'm leaving my mixability down. In the base of this first tree, I want it to be right down in front there to show that it's really sitting in front. Oh. Now I'm going to be going in and adding snow in afterwards, so I'm just going to grab this black here and just kind of block it in where I want the darks of the trees to be. I'm going right beside the cabin there because that's where I want it to end up moving to. Here's a close-up in first-person view as I'm seeing it in the game. I'll do a few of these throughout the video to kind of give you more of a view of what I'm actually seeing here. Alright, so I got it blocked in where I want it. I'm actually noticing that these are too bright in here, so I'm going to take the bristle short flat here, load that up, and just dab a few darker spots in here again. So it got a little bit light on me throughout. All right. So with this bristle fan, I'm now going to go and just, yeah, I'll do it with the bristle fan. So I said bristle fan, but I had the bristle flat. I am going to grab the bristle fan. And I'm just going to do these little side downward strokes off of these trees here, just to create some darker branch texture. And just go in and do this kind of all through here. Okay, once you got that in with your really darks, Then you can grab some of this dark green that we have and go in and kind of just do that same thing, but not covering up everywhere where we've been so far. You want to just kind of add it in a few different spots to really show where those trees might be. And again, I'm just going really light, hardly pressing it at all. And really just keeping those brush strokes in the direction that you want those branches to be going. And if it starts to get, it'll slowly start to get a little bit darker, that color, until you reset it. But I'm just kind of working with it a little bit here, and that's okay. Alright, I think I might take just that lighter green just in a few spots here, really sparse, just kind of adding it in mainly on one side of these trees, just to add a little bit more texture to them before we add on the snow. Okay. I'm going to grab some white. And make sure that canvas mixability is down, otherwise this white will not stay white. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to take some of this blue. I need it to be more blue. I'm just going to add it to some of the shadowy sides of the mountains, of the trees, to kind of make it look more like it's snow in the shadows, right? I feel like it needs a little bit of red, just needs to be a little bit more purpley. All right, I think that's good there. I think I'll do that same thing here with that purple on these trees over here then. I feel like since these trees are in the background, you don't have to do this yet, but you can wait to see what it looks like. I'm going to try it here. I don't mind that because it is more in the background than these trees in the foreground, so I'm going to leave that for now. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I want to see what it kind of looks like in the end when I leave it like that. All right, before we do the shoreline, I think I will do the cabin, because then I can take the shoreline right up to the cabin, and then it'll be easier to layer it on there. So for the cabin, I'm going to grab our smooth short flat. And to start with this cabin, I'm just going to take our black here. And I'm just going to box it all in. Alright, we got that boxed in. I'm going to take some of this darker brown now and just layer it a bit on this side. And some of this lighter brown here. Actually, hold on here. Let's fix this roof. Turning up that mixability again, because as I go through this, I do want it to mix a little bit with the colors underneath. So this isn't going to be a perfect looking cabin. It's just going to work for what we need it to. I didn't like those. Just gonna use that bristle one real quick here with a little bit of black just to calm down that brown a little bit that I put on there. Okay. I'm just gonna go sideways here. Just blending it together. And now the cabin on this side has some pillars and some windows in it on the original. So I'm just going to add a couple of window beams here. Alright, just by layering this in here, then we're kind of making it look more like it has kind of like a log wall, right? The original that I had, as you can see, had windows in it, but I'm changing the shape a little bit, just wanted to try it out and see how it went. Now for the front. That was bad. Alright, there's a little door. Now above that, we're going to add, so if there's a light in here, and it's making this front porch area kind of lit up. And for the roof, I'm just going to try something here. Just going to grab some white on the bristle one and just pull that down. The direction that the roof would be going. Alright, I want it to be a little bit wider than that, so I'm going to turn down that mixing sensitivity. Almost icicles coming down the side here. Gonna take a little bit of that over on this side as well here. And maybe a little bit on that front step. Okay, I need to take a step back for a second, take a look. Okay, I like it so far. So now we'll leave that. You can always go back and touch things up as you go through. Let's work on the shoreline and then we will go into the reflection here. So for our shoreline, that mixing sensitivity is down, which is fine. I'm just going to grab some black here. And just go ahead and mix things in. No, I'm not going to. If you ever want to reset your palette, you can put some of the paint colors that you've got down on the tray in front of you, which I'm going to do right now. Just so I can reset that palette, have a nice cleaner surface to be going on here. All right, got that in there. This area is mainly filled with rocks, little shrubs, and snow. So I'm just going to take some white here, some black, make a nice gray. Just kind of dab it in here. You might want to create some type of more formal path coming down to the water if you'd like. You don't have to. And I'm just going to go through, just dabbing this throughout. It's going to get darker as you go, and that's okay. Alright, so now I'm going to grab some darker green that I'd set down on the canvas or the tray in front of me. Just kind of dab that throughout here. Right up alongside the cabin there as well. Grab the lighter stuff. Now I'm going to grab some white. And some areas can be pretty thick with snow if you'd like. Alright, I'm going to leave it for now. We'll touch it up as we do the reflection here in the water. At this moment, I feel like I don't really need the lines that I drew on the second layer. So I'm going to go back to the second layer. I'm going to grab this little rag, put it into the turpentine or whatever it is down there. Just go through and erase those lines. If you feel like they're showing through anywhere, like up on my mountains there, just go and erase those around the trees. Don't need any of those in there anymore. Or around the cabin. Alright, done with that. Go back to layer 3. Make sure you go back to your layer that you were working on. Now I'm just going to grab my 2-inch brush here. I'm going to take some black and I'm just going to block some. Actually, that's a little bit too much. We're going to go right there. A little bit too high there. Oh, that took me all the way back to that. Okay. Now I'm going to grab some of this darker green, mix some of that on in there as well. Some of that lighter green. Put some of that in there. Some of this light colored snow. Put that in there. This part needs some more dark though. You just want to go in and block with general colors what is around it. Alright, I'm just going to start with that. I'm going to do the cabin reflection in a minute, so I'm going to grab this blender brush here, make it as big as it goes. And I'm just going to go side to side here. And just blend this out. Side to side because if you've ever looked at ripples in the water or reflections in the water, they usually are morphed going side to side because that's how the water is looking at the time. Alright, now I'm going to go in with my bristle fan and I'm going to adjust a few spots that I feel like either need more dark like that. Need maybe a little bit more of this light throughout here. Some more of that real purple. I'm almost like creating those trees again down in here. Alright, so now the cabin part, I'm going to take some of this brown, just going to put it in right here. Take some of that over top, this will come in right here. Alright, grab that blender brush. And try this stuff over here too, see how I like it. Okay. Need some more of this brown over in here. Put that in there. I feel like my light part is just a little bit too light in some of those spots there. And then underneath the cabin itself, I feel like that needs to be cut off a bit more. Get some more gray here. Kind of dab down that track there. Okay, let's try that out. Okay, I don't mind that. Now for the shoreline itself, I'm going to grab this bristle brush. Just taking some of this gray. I'm just gonna, oh, that's a little bit too much. Take some of that darker brown as well here. going to make a combo color. And just go along that shoreline there with that gray-brown color. Sorry, I'm like a squirrel right now. I'm seeing a few different things that I want to fix up all at once. Okay, now back to that shoreline. Trying to make it look a little bit rocky there as it goes. And if you'd like to, with either that gray or that white, and with that bristle fan, I'm just going to go a little bit at an angle here, put in some lines, because that's going to mimic kind of the water just barely lapping up on the shoreline there. Again, I feel like this light is just a little bit too bright. Alright, at this point I need to take a step back and see where I'm at here. Alright, what I'm seeing is I want to just adjust this reflection in a few spots. I feel like this is too dark right here. It needs some more of this green and a little bit more of that purple in there. Okay, let me step back one more time, sorry. Alright, we're just missing one thing here. Well, no, sorry, we're missing two things. The first thing though, this tree, oh yeah, it kind of does have a reflection, that's fine. I'm just going to make this one a little bit taller then. There we go, that makes me feel a little bit better. Alright, I could sit here and adjust those all day. I'm not going to worry about adjusting that all the way there. Alright, if you want to sign it, well, no, first I should say, if you need to adjust anything, add more snow somewhere, fix up anything you want to add, go ahead and do that now. Add your own touches to it. This is definitely just meant to be a kind of a simple tutorial that you can go off of after this. So I'm just going to use a color that I've used throughout the whole painting, and I usually paint it in the bottom right corner. I've always struggled with my signature. There's many ways that you can sign a painting. I usually just do last name, and then I do the year. Here's one final close-up first-person view with my headset on of this painting. I tried to show you all different parts of it so you can kind of check that all out. Alright, now that you're finished, there's a couple things you can do. Back in your menu here, you can't quite see that. Sorry, you haven't been able to see that the whole time. Make sure the layers is right there. No, it doesn't matter now. Sorry about that. But you can go through and save it. Now it's been saving autosaves for you the whole time, so if you feel like you messed up at a certain spot, click on that one and the autosave can take you back to any spot that you would like to go back to. Or you can save it as a new from here. Go to the export there. You can share it right to Facebook if you want, or you can save it to your downloads. You got your studio photo gallery or neutral. I usually save one of all three. Because I like doing that there. You can also do 3D models if you haven't seen that as well. So thank you for painting this one with me today. I hope you learned something new you can take on to your next painting. If you haven't checked out my other step-by-step painting tutorials here on Vermillion, I encourage you to do so. I'll link that playlist below. I'll also link below reviews to the different accessories I used on my Quest 2 while I was painting this, if you wanted to check those out as well. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. I'm Brian Sloan, Artist.